Welcome everybody to the Bridon League Open Cup. It is going to be Goomba Gaming versus Time to Get Real in a best of one series. This is the group stage, and from every group only one team will advance to play in a secondary group stage to just find out who's going to get to the upper bracket, who's going to get to the lower bracket of the playoff, which will consist of only those four teams coming from the second group stage. But Goomba at the moment, they are with a record of 1-1, winning against Cleve and losing against basically unknown. Time to Get Real though did lose against, I think, Goomba as well as basically unknown yesterday. So Goomba, even having lost one game, still the favorites coming into this one. But we're of course HeflaTV, your English coverage. I'm Coucher, and today I'll be joined by Grandy Sveeman. How you doing?
Doing just fine, and it should be a pretty good way to start the day. Just a quick best of one with Goomba and Time to Get Real. We'll probably have a different co-caster in here for the rest of the day, but I'm definitely glad to be here for game number one.
Yeah, and all at the moment, Goomba themselves, funny enough, have banned out the Troll Warlord. It's just a hero that even before that hero became popular, before he just received the buffs, or I guess they weren't so much as buffs as them fixing how the hero should work to begin with, but it's still Goomba Gaming. It's kind of their hero, but Juggernaut definitely a strong first pick.
Yeah, definitely. Offering the healing ward for a little bit of extra pushing power and just all around a really potent carry. A lot of single killing potential. Time to Get Real. They'll start things off with the Wraithgate Scarith Mage. Something that has fallen out of favor a little bit, but still a pretty solid way to open things up. With the point and click stun into the Mystic Flare from the Scarith Mage, it's a pretty solid combination.
It's definitely not too shabby. In Wraith King, even as a support, he can just bring quite a lot to the table, even later on in the game. Just having a 30% lifesteal aura is pretty damn massive for their carries, to be honest. But we'll see if they even want to play this Wraith King as a support or not. Against Juggernaut as well, I guess he might be able to Blade Fear, but then again, Skywrath Mage will be there with the Ancient Seal most likely, so definitely, like I said, a pretty damn solid opening for them. As Goomba picking up a Chikiro, so between the Healing Ward and the Liquid Fire, that's just a lot of push already coming out.
Yeah, even if they don't fully commit to the death ball push, they already have a lot at their disposal, and if given the opportunity, they could actually just go full in for the five-man pushing lineup and group up at a very early time. Right now, Time to Get Real don't have anything that really deals with that very well. The Wraithgate and Scarith Mage, although they're decent at killing heroes, their counter push is incredibly limited.
Yeah, it's well, thank God for them. They still have the time to go for some of or some stronger counter push. Heroes like Puck are extremely popular these days. Illusion Herb is pretty decent for counter pushing, and also when the enemy comes to push, Puck is just an excellent hero to jump in and start the fight for their team. So we'll see if we're gonna see a Puck on either side. It's definitely, I'd say probably one of the more popular heroes at the moment in general. Just you see Puck almost every single game.
Yeah, definitely. If not picked, banned. Time to Get Real. I'm actually pretty surprised that they ban out the Centaur for themselves. Maybe they're going to go ahead and snag the puck for the offlane. It definitely wouldn't be a bad choice. It's going to be their turn to think about this last ban as well as the first pick, and they're going to take their time with it. It's going to be a Magnus ban.
Well, Magnus Juggernaut has, at least that combination has shown itself a little bit in the star ladder in the past couple of days or past 2 days. So it's definitely strong, especially just Juggernaut getting free cleave from that Empower Wall. Any kind of melee carry with the cleave coming up from Magnus is strong. Not too sure if Goomba actually plays that hero or not. I at least haven't seen them in the recent past. But well, it would have just been a strong combination, so I guess it makes sense to ban it out. But I have no idea if it was necessary or not, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's really the scariest of all picks. I think more interesting is that they take their time with this next pickup.
They might be just trying to consider whether to actually make the Wraith King into a support hero or pick up a secondary support and have the Wraith King as the core. Something like a Witch Doctor might not be too bad. Just Death Ward to actually try to damage Juggernaut through the Blade Fury. Although later on in the game the Blade Fury isn't all that threatening in most cases anyway. But if they want to go for some carry, for example, you could try to pick up a Medusa. Just Stone Gaze is always nice. With the Mana Shield, you are actually one of the carries that might be able to survive a Omni Slash, for example. And just a Skadi builder as well, which will be nice to make sure Juggernaut doesn't just spin and escape.
They'll go for the Tide Hunter, and I think this is a solid way to go about the draft. If they pick up a Dusa, I think Goomba will just be able to snag up so much mana burn to the point where Wraith King and Dusa really lose a lot of their tankability on the front lines. So I think if that is the course of action, they'll wait a little bit later on the draft for it.
Yeah, it's probably the smart choice. Like I said, otherwise might just get counterpicked immediately. But with the tide now, plenty of setup between the just Ravage as well as the Ray-Fire Blast for the Mystic Flare, so that's always a nice thing to have. Also, just Tidehunter, one of the strongest team fight heroes, especially once you get the Refresher Orb as well. Goomba though, picking up a Nerve Shaker for themselves. It's definitely a just huge amount of lockdown. Early on, you can roam fairly effectively with that as well, especially if the Jakiro should be there to back them up. So, long range Fissure into a long range just Ice Path. But whoa, time to get real, picking up an Alchemist.
Yeah, and a very interesting pick it is as well. A lot of burst damage sources coming out from Goomba are going to make this Alchemist fare a little bit less comfortably. It kind of feels like this is going to be their farming hero for time to get real, and it's been a while since I've seen a farming Alchemist. And with this Lion pickup from Goomba, things are looking really scary for him as well.
I think I've seen the Alchemist, or well, I casted it once, and I saw him the second time as well within the past week. It was London Conspiracy playing it both times. And one time they went for the aggressive tri-lane even with that, which maybe wasn't the greatest decision in the end. They won the game anyway, but Alchemist, especially now with the new improved Grievous Creed, if you actually have like even let's say 8 minutes of free farm time early on, just at the start of the game, you're gonna get so much value out of that. You're gonna get like a 4.5, 4 minute Midas if it goes really well for you. Grievous Creed just stacking things up, maybe even go for like a Battle Fury if you want to go super greedy. It's just Alchemist's advantage over other carries usually is you get 6 slotted twice as fast as anybody else.
It definitely is his advantage. I fear for him this game, however, just seeing how much he's actually able to do with those 6 slots. He's going to be forced into a BKB, and even once he has that, Juggernaut's still going to be doing quite a lot of damage towards him and should be able to win the fist fight there.
Yeah,
We'll just have to see how well it works out.
yeah, time to get real definitely will have to just provide proper backup for the Alchemist as well. I guess the Brave King's lifesteal, for example, will definitely start helping out the Alchemist in the fights already. But like you said, just Goomba they have, especially now with the Lion picked up, even more burst damage to just bring down the Alchemist as fast as it possibly can. Because otherwise, if you just try to slow burn him down somehow, the Chemical Rage when it's activated, there's no way you can just not burst him down. That's really the only way to kill him usually. Or just really high sustained damage. But Goomba, don't think they will have that, at least not with the 4 heroes they have so far. Last bans though, Death Prophet taken out by Time to Get Real, so reducing the pushing amount from Goomba as Broodmother. Banned out by Goomba themselves. Definitely Broodmother is just one of the most annoying offlaners for the supports to deal with. Have to buy detection, have to be present on the lane most of the time to make sure your just safe lane carry doesn't get wrecked. But for Goomba, which of the 3 just so-called support heroes will even be in the core role?
I think it should be the Jakiro, but I'm definitely not opposed to a mid Earthshaker and mid Lion, although it's not something you get to see very often. An early Blink Hex initiation could be pretty good for them. Lina going to be picked up by Time to Get Real. They have decent setup for LSA, and this can get pretty scary, but definitely some unconventional picks going on TTGR side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always for some Lina. Definitely, I think, an underutilized hero. Scary Faces, they were a team that ran Lina and Pidge rather often even. So I'm fine with seeing like Lina and Alchemist on the same team. But this will probably mean that the Brave King will be in that core role unless they want to run like a Lina mid or Skyraf Mage mid, something like that. So Brave King and Skyraf Mage, and well, I guess it's up against like Earthshaker and Lion. Which support duo will accomplish more? I mean, I probably expect both of them to try to roam around quite a lot, but who do you think will go for like the most aggression from those teams?
Not exactly sure. Personally, I'd like to see the Lina farm up in the mid lane. Either way, I guess I'll just go ahead and introduce the TTGR side. And towards the off lane is going to be Tidehunter. He's going to be handled by, oh my goodness, if he could stop moving, I might be able to read his name. XJCS on the Tide mid lane Lina. It looks like it's going to be played by Madness Will Consume You with 1 Pool Tango and 2 sticks in her inventory. Mufasa going to be playing on the Alchemist, Jettisay on the Wraith King and Scarith Mage, handled by Lost.
Well, and for the enemy side, for Goomba, Chris is on the Chikiro, the stand-in for them, leaving Edie on the Earthshaker, with Kasha playing the Lion, leaving Chill on the Juggernaut, and the last one for them will be Exist on that mid lane Invoker. But core Lina, man, is it an Aghanim's Rush? What's even the like most preferred item build? I guess Yule's Scepter would definitely not be too bad, just setting up your own light strike arrays. Extra mobility is never too shabby, but are we gonna see an Aghanim's?
I would love to, especially up against the Juggernaut with that built-in magic immunity. Just having a way to burst him down through that could be pretty darn sick. Maybe Yule's into Ags, Blink into Ags, Blink Yule's into Ags. Any combination of those three items, I think, is pretty highly likely. Down towards bottom, Fish going to be thrown out, as is the stun from Alk. But it looks like just traded cooldowns as Mufasa's able to secure the bounty rune there. Up towards top, they'll hand it the way of Gasha, and it is going to be one rune going towards either side.
Well, that's, I guess, how it preferably goes all the time. Just people sharing the runes. It's actually pretty devastating if one team manages to grab both of them. It's just 200 XP, 200 gold straight off the bat, especially for supports. You can like get earlier boots, which makes your just ganking a little bit more effective, for example. At the moment though, both mid laners are lacking the necessary mobility to escape ganks. In general, Lina not the fastest of heroes, Invoker even slower early on, especially having gone for Exort. So if either side wants to rotate, they might find just easy prey waiting for them.
Definitely. Outside of those rotations, however, both of them are pretty self-sufficient laners, and at least at the early levels, Chris is going to be very annoying to the Alchemist, channeling up the stun, going to throw it the way of the Jakiro, but that's more or less just wasted mana by the Alchemist, a little bit of harass here and there.
In the meantime, Gasha tries to harass the Tidehunter out, even pops the Earth Spike, but the Earth Spike is just kind of horrible damage on the first level, stun duration only 1.02 seconds as well. So not the greatest, and Lion's right click of course, well, it's decent-ish, but Tidehunter, especially with the Stout Shield, doesn't care all that much about it. But what do you think about those dual lanes? I mean, I guess definitely having the Earthshaker to back up Shakira is nice, but is it also giving a little bit too much space to the Tidehunter, for example?
I don't think the Earthshaker would be doing very much at actually zoning the Tidehunter, although I think adding that extra Fisher gives him a little bit more killing potential. I think it's fine what Goomba have settled on when it comes to their lanes. Just offering a little bit more help is pretty much all that Jakiro needs to keep himself safe. Another stun being channeled by the Alk is going to flag Grizz's way, but actually doesn't do much.
So Mufasa so far 1 point into Concoction, 1 into the Grievous Creed. We'll see if that Midas will be coming out anytime soon for him, but there is a pause. Chetisei did mention something about having a 500 ping as well. So they're probably going to try to fix it. I guess worst case scenario is going to be a remake. But remakes are, well, I guess with a load in it gets a lot harder, but then again there hasn't been any first blood or anything. So as long as they would, let's say, just agree on going for the same lanes and each like picking up the same rune, for example, it might just be fine.
It looks like all of the pings are at least workable on either side, except for the Wraith King, so hopefully he'll be able to connect in.
Well, all we can do is hope at the moment, but if you look at just over the last hits at the moment, mid lane for example, it's 9 and 3 up on the Invoker compared to a 4 and 1 Lina. Lina's attack animation of course isn't all that great, especially at the start of the attack. Once the projectile starts flying it's not all that bad, but just getting to the point, it's, oh god, so annoying to play the Lina. You actually have to play that hero rather often to get used to it. Whereas for an Invoker, decent attack animation, having Exort as well, lots of damage coming out. Already level 2 Exort, even started with an Alt Talisman. So Invoker, I guess it's expected for him to last it a little bit better early on, but do you think Invoker will just, throughout the laning phase, have the advantage in last hits, or will Lina start kind of catching up at one point when maybe just Dragon Slave farm purely?
I don't think there's really any chance for Lina to contest the Invoker's farm at this point. Now that he has gotten 2 points up in the Exort, he's hitting for 21 damage plus, or 20 damage plus what the Lina is doing, and that just really isn't possible, even if her animation was good. So I think he should be able to at least secure his farm, although Lina's not going to get shut down. As you said, the Dragon Slave as well as Lightstrike Array to spam out the waves is going to secure a little bit for this Lina. But yeah, Invoker really isn't going to be pressured at all, unless they get some sort of rotation.
And well, I think as a Lina, maybe just push out the lanes, go try to stack your own jungle a little bit. You can definitely just Lightstrike Array, Dragon Slave, farm it up later, or if not for yourself, even the supports just should be doing massive stacks at the moment, just to make sure that Alchemist gets a hell of a lot. To be honest, just Alchemist doesn't care too much if it's like a small camp stack. Small camp is maybe even easier goal for him with the Grievous Creep because the creeps die faster. So Definitely hoping for TTGR to do massive stacking, and of course, if they do stack, they also have to make sure that they won't get stolen. Apart from the Blade Fury though, they don't have like the greatest AoE, unless they want to come in with like Chaos Meteors or something, but definitely stacking should be on the minds of TTGR.
Well, inside the river area, they're going to bump into Exist, haste it up. The Wraith King looking for the stun, but possibly just a little too deep. They're behind the tier 2 tower, they are going to commit it, silence him up. TP support comes in droves, and Invoker is going to be just fine.
I'm not too sure if he got fogged or... say he didn't even try to go for the straight off Reefer Blast. I'm not too sure why he decided to hold on to it. Had he gotten it immediately, just easy haste, run past him, try and start body blocking for the Skyriff Mage to get a little bit closer as well. So maybe not the best attempt. Then again, just a little bit unlucky that the Invoker actually came in to break their smoke as well. So no first blood yet, 3 minutes in, everybody's just happily farming away.
Especially the Juggernaut up towards top. Chill is having a free time 16 and 12. They've been doing a good job of zoning out the Tidehunter, and at this point, there's not much of a chance for him to contest, even though in a 1v1 situation, Tide definitely gets a lot more than this. The Lion, props to him, has really been doing a good job. Even without the Earthshaker here, and now they're going to pressure the Tide, they bring in the spin, this might be our first blood, the body blocks, and the damage from Blade Fury is enough, and Chill is going to draw it. Add an even greater infusion of gold to his already burgeoning bank.
Yeah, at the same time, we almost had first blood in the bottom lane as well. The Earthshaker, as what Jakiro almost brought down that Skyriff Mage, but he managed to just juke them out, get the TP auto safety. Bottom lane though, Wraith King will come in with a stun, but there will be no follow-up just because Alchemist, well, a little bit too low on mana for the concoction at the time. Now say he himself gets fissured up, don't think they're gonna have enough damage to bring him down, or will they? There's the unstable concoction, a TP coming in as well. I think Jakiro will lose his life. Yep, Lightstark Ray does connect as well. With the Dragon Slave, Lina picks up the kill, so a 1-for-1 in the end. But of course Goomba did throw the first blood, and I have to say usually Juggernauts these days just leave the Blade Fury at level 1 and just go for others, but he's going for a slightly different build. He's even saving 2 points, hasn't even put into stats yet.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I wouldn't really like to see Chill go into stats, but I can understand him not going for the Blade Dance since he isn't trading hits with the Tidehunter at all, because the Tide actually just can't show his face inside the lane. And every once in a while you get a crit that makes you miss a last hit, and you kind of regret it. So I think it's completely fine. Juggernaut is farming away, and he is going to be able to do that for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I do have to say that, considering it was a dual lane, Tidehunter definitely was shut down quite a lot. I guess you have to fear the Battle Fury, or not, the Blade Fury rather. And I have to say Lion has been doing a really great job as well, just Earth spiking and mana draining, making it so the Tidehunter, even though usually he can man-fight support, just because of the mana drain, he still has to try to outrun it. Really well done there. In the meantime, a Sentry Ward does come out to make sure the Ancients will still get stacked, although I don't think this ward blocked out the Ancients anyway. But that's always like one comeback method for it at Tide as an offlaner, just stacks.
Yeah, although he can't farm that up immediately, eventually it is going to come out for him. He shows his face in lane again, and since it's under tower, he's going to be safe in doing so. It's going to be a Midas for Chill. You talked about inside the draft, a Midas for Alchemist coming out at maybe 4 minutes. Well, this is a 5-minute one for Chill, and he didn't really stop off for anything. When you have such a free time, it's hard to resist that temptation, and I think it's a fine item pickup because of it.
Yeah, it probably is as well, just levels are always nice for a Juggernaut. And it does amplify the just farm by a hell of a lot. So he has the Midas. Mufasa isn't going for one, at least not yet. Although I'd imagine if you don't rush it on an Alchemist, you might not go for it at all. Then again, lane has been a little bit harder than that of the Juggernaut, so might still go for a slightly later Midas, who the hell knows. Might just go for a Battle Fury, for example, on the Alchemist instead. Still getting quite a lot of gold. If you look at the net worth, Wall Juggernaut, thanks to the first blood, as well as slightly better farm, is ahead. So Grievous Greed's value, I guess, hasn't been there that much so far.
After that 1-kill rotation coming out from the Lina, as well as CSing very well after the fact, she's actually overtaken the Invoker, at least to my surprise. I was expecting the Invoker to be doing quite a bit better, but Exist forced to play pretty defensively in this mid lane after so many support rotations. So even though they don't kill off the Invoker, at the very least they're securing Lina a better time in lane.
Oh, top lane though, Sunstrike will come out, no Blade Fury even needed. Earth Spike, beautiful setup for the Sunstrike of course, and well, easy follow up. Shield gets to keep his mana, has the Omni Slash as well, so Skyriff Mage has to be careful. Of course when he sees the Omni Knight running at him, he can just pop the silence, but even with the silence, he might just be able to run you down anyway, wait for the silence to end and then go on you.
Yeah, it gets really problematic on the Scarth Mage. Interestingly enough, Lost has actually gone for no points into the Arcane Bolt, as he just hasn't found an opportunity to use it. In middle lane, potential for kills is... You see the Lina posturing very aggressively. They bring in the Wraith King from the straight up of the lane, but can't connect with any disables. We do have that Laguna Blade up for Madness will consume you as well.
Man, the Laguna Blade, it's such a great ability. Of course it is more or less on par with the Lion's Finger of Death. The biggest difference though, especially on level 1, is the cooldown. I think it's 70 seconds for Lina. Yeah, 70 seconds on the first level, well as 160 for the Lion. So that's probably the biggest difference coming out there. And of course, the Aghanim Scepter upgrade for Lina, just pure damage and pierces magic immunity. Not too shabby at all.
Definitely not. If you're not able to utilize that cooldown reduction on the Lina ultimate, it does become a little bit better to have the Finger of Death. We'll just have to see how active this Lina is going to be, and I would like to see Madness roam around and look for kills very aggressively, at the very least offer TP support. Bottom tier 1 tower going to be taken out by the Jakiro, presumably. They are going to turn with a custom shot, and now with the stun from the Alchemist, long range going to land to Chris. The defensive fissure is going to block them off nicely, and now the chase continues. They bring in Gasha off of the sidelines, and for now, nothing's actually going to happen. The tower is going to be denied, I believe, no, destroyed by the Dire.
Well, that was an extremely disappointing rotation coming out from TTGR, to be honest. The reaction, I don't know if it wasn't just there on time. Of course, the Earthshaker, beautiful Fissure as well to make sure that no follow-up stuns will be there. In the meantime, Exist putting a lot of pressure on the tier 1 mid lane, and Exist is going for a Midas as well. I guess it's the most standard kind of Exort build.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it is kind of going to be a catch-up on this, even though it isn't coming out that fast. Looking for the Fissure from the Earthshaker, he's going to hold it, and the rest of his team is going to pull back. Although there is a lot of chain stunning action potential from Goomba.
So Tidehunter also has been farming up the jungle a little bit, but there still isn't too much action going on as far as stacks go for TTGR. So not making the most of the Alchemist pick so far, and well, he's going for a straight up Maelstrom. I guess Mjolnir is always a decent-ish item, but I'm not too sure, especially with the Maelstrom. He's just still gonna pop to the Finger of Death, which is available to Gasha.
I think the issue is he just needs more time. Fissure going to be thrown out, and going to connect with the Finger of Death on the Wraith King. Didn't stand a chance. Only level 3, no reincarnation available, and Goomba find a very, very easy kill.
Well, that's definitely gonna help them out. Just maybe, well, of course, continuing for the push might be a little bit too risky, but there's an Invis rune on the Lina. This might be their opening, then again, Chemical Rage will wear off on the Alchemist, but if it's only the Chikiro there, I think they're finally gonna grab a kill. There's the Unstable Concoction, slow to follow, Lightstriker Ray, Dragon Slave, all of course buffed up by the Ancient Seal as well. So they do get the kill, don't even have to use the Laguna Blade for it. But, well, as for the Alchemist, like you said, he's just gonna need more time. I mean, with the Maelstrom you can farm a little bit faster, but in the fights it's not gonna help you that much this early on.
Yeah, it really doesn't. For now, since TTGR are committing so much to this bottom lane, Goomba have been left to their own devices in top and mid. So we do have that Midas now running for the Invoker, and Juggernaut takes a tier 1 tower as the Morbid Mask, Phase Boots, and pretty much everything you could want on this Jug. So I think things are looking up for them. TTGR, although they do have this farming out, as you kind of already mentioned, he's not going to be battle ready, even though he has a pretty decent item picked up. This is only going to serve to clear up creeps faster.
Yeah, it's just 850 HP is more or less no good when you're dealing Finger of Death. Even the Omni Slash, which also hasn't been used yet, but chill, already up to level 9. So this might be one of the like rare games where we're gonna see a level 2 Omni Slash on the first time it gets used. I mean, Hand of Midas just gives you some nice XP, and there really hasn't been too much point for him to even leave the lane if you're getting that great of a farm.
They'll get a stun in mid, onto the Earthshaker, follow up with the LSA, and Laguna Blade is going to be used for the first time. Chill, looking for an opening for Omni Slash, can't isolate the Lina, and it's going to be forced back. Wraithfire Blast not going to be disjointed by the Blade Fury, and for now it's just both teams standing off against each other. Although Juggernaut's low, he knows that Lina has already used Laguna Blade and isn't going to die immediately. However, his Healing Ward not going to be so lucky, he is going to be taken out.
So Chill, he did destroy a tower. I'm not sure if he got the last hit for it, but with Goomba having a tower advantage, as well as Juggernaut being slightly ahead in last hits, Alchemist with the Grievous Greed now has surpassed the Juggernaut, even with him having the Midas in net worth. So Grievous Creep being maxed out finally starts kicking in as well. And of course, the longer the game goes, the faster Alchemist will be just devouring those creeps, getting the extra gold going. So Goomba, if they give too much time, they might just come to regret it, especially since Tidehunter is level 6 now. Needs only about 1 more K to get his Blink Dagger as well. So TTGR, they will be fight ready soonish if Goomba give them too much time.
Inside the jungle, however, Chill is going to set his sights potentially onto Mufasa. He's going to bump into the Scarif Mage, gets the spin off, and there's just not a target that he can throw the stun towards. They X up Mufasa, and he's going to stun himself. They have the Omni Slash. Finger of Death is going to mean that they don't have to use it, and the cooldown workaround coming up from Goomba is quite amazing on Gasha, finding kills immediately once that Finger of Death was ready.
Oh god, that's like the biggest weakness of an Alchemist, or the stun of him at least. Usually you don't see it against like normal heroes. Scarif Mage though with the Ancient Seal is like, if your Ancient Seal is maxed out and you're up against an Alchemist and you pop the Ancient Seal on him while he's channeling it, there's no way he can just throw it out without having a BKB or Matastel or something. So really nicely done by Gasha, just keeping him locked down for him to stun himself. Definitely extremely frustrating for the Alchemist, I believe, who has picked up a Hyperstone, so straight off Mjolnir main. Is it the best build as well mid lane? They get the Scarif Mage and still no Omni Slash needed.
Such an easy kill too. They just drop the Fissures, Sunstrike, Gold Snap onto the Scarif Mage, and he dies before he's able to do anything. They'll get the tier 1 tower after the fact, and Goomba are starting to constrict out TTGR, and they'll mop up these big creeps too. This is a lot of economic damage done, in particular Tidehunter. He's forced back to base before he's able to mop that up, and this is going to be an easy 600 gold for Goomba that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Oh man, things not looking all that great. If you look at the graphs as well, already 3.5k net worth lead for Goomba. XP about 4,000 as well almost. So they're looking good. They can even just go for easy Roshan with the Juggernaut having the healing ward, having 4 points into the Blade Dance. And when do you think we're gonna see the first Omni Slash though?
Whenever there's an opportunity. Right now, Goomba, they haven't really needed to get kills, and Chill has been very active on the jug, even though he's had pretty much a free time. If anybody walks around the corner, or if Mufasa gets a little too comfortable in farming, could be in a lot of trouble. Speaking of the Alk, he does have the completed Mjolnir, so he's going to be going for more or less a complete farming build. But now Goomba, they're going to look for the wraparound. I think this Alk is completely screwed. This should be our first Omni Slash. They're going to hex him up. Blade Fury, maybe they don't even need it this time around too. They're going to Earth Spike him up. Sunstrike flies through, and Mufasa's down. Silence on to Chill, but he just doesn't care with the Blade Dance going to work. They are going to LSA Laguna Blade him to the face with that Ancient Seal amplifying it up, and now Gasha from long range. Double kill for Madness as he secures the buyback from the Juggernaut as he wants to get back into this action, but still, TTGR, even though they lose their Alchemist, find a favorable engagement.
Yeah, it's just Juggernaut having Mask of Madness activated, getting Ancient Sealed, and then Laguna Bladed. You just cannot survive that. I mean, the Mask of Madness definitely, as always, will be a double-edged sword, and this time around just not working in his favor. At least they can continue to farming, and the buyback, it didn't cost him all that much, and he got to use the Midas a hell of a lot earlier than he otherwise would have. He's gonna find Tidehunter though, but Tidehunter is just not the target you can kill even with an Omni Slash, or at least not reliably.
Yeah, not with the 2 creeps over there for sure. Chill's still going to be hunting, and as you mentioned, since he was able to get that Midas off of cooldown, that buyback, even though it's going to put it on cooldown for a handful of minutes, doesn't really mean much of anything, only costing him 100 gold or so. Madness, however, if he gets caught up by the Omni Slash, could be in a whole heap of trouble. Is going to look for the LSA, doesn't connect, and now Yule Scepter Ice Path on Lina, bringing in the Juggernaut from the sidelines. Omni Slash onto the poor Lina is going to crater her. She's nothing more than ashes on the ground. Now they look towards Genesee, no mana for the ultimate. He's going to be crit down by the Juggernaut and Sunstrike flying through. The Invoker secures the last hit.
Jeez, the mana drain level 3 is so damn strong, and Mufasa will survive thanks to the Omni Slash having been used already. So I guess that's a minor positive for TTGR. Goomba though, looking good. Just once again taking 2 kills and might even continue with a tier 2 push. And this Chuck hero, I mean, having the Yule Scepter is gonna make a hell of a lot of a difference. Just easy setup for the Ice Path, which is level 3 as well. And TTGR, they don't have a single hero who at the moment could escape a Yule's Ice Path.
Yeah, there really isn't anything. They need a BKB up in this Alchemist, and probably is this next item too. And even that BKB, although useful, isn't going to save him, especially if we get a Blink Dagger coming out from this line, which is getting farmed at a decent rate for Gasha. He's going to have it just after a couple more creeps.
Well, it's definitely going to be nice for them, as are we going to see jump on somebody? Shouldn't say, if he had a blink, maybe could try to jump at Shakira, but even then I don't think there would be any proper follow-up. And well, Earthshaker has his blink now, Lion will have his own as well. So suddenly Goomba, they're just like twice as scary as they were 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, and if you look at the supports on TTGR, there just isn't anything. Oh, Ravage inside the pit. They're going to be able to clean up Chill, and now the Roshan dropping low. Mufasa going to stun himself, but this is a big boon for TTGR that Goomba weren't really wanting to give them. Ice Path going to connect on 3, Macropar going to do some burn damage throughout this pit. The Aegis is now picked up by the Alk, however, they turn into Chris D. Finger of Death going to kill off the Tidehunter. Earthspike connects on to 2. Dual Scepter up, going to save Chris D. Jumping for the Echo Slam, going to connect on a few. They are going to get the refresh up from the Alchemist, and Laguna Blade going to make it a 2-for-4 trade, and TTGR. That was probably one of the biggest happenings in this game so far.
Yeah, and even with that, I mean, they had Reincarnation and they had the Aegis, but Goomba, they had a pretty horrible fight, to be honest. I mean, Juggernaut dying straight away, but even without the Juggernaut, they managed to bring down 4 lives. Although for TTGR, 2 of those lives didn't mean anything, being the Reincarnation and the Aegis, but still, Goomba, it was just horrible for them what happened, but they're not out of the game by any means, or TTGR didn't take like a massive lead from this, but then again Mufasa is number 1 in net worth now. Did go for a Blink Dagger as the secondary item, so I guess some extra initiation range for themselves as well. But Ravage use, that's an... Whoa, okay, that's huge, the Aghanims for Lina.
Yeah, it really is. Madness has been sitting on a decent amount of gold and is going to show that off now with the Aghanim Scepter all the way complete up. This is, as you said, huge for them. It is going to take away a little bit of the synergy between the Skywrath Mage and Delina, but makes up for it in the ability to bring down Juggernaut inside his Blade Fury. Well, still, Lion Hunting, they're going to get the Blink Hacks inside the woods onto Losna with a Blink Enchant Totem. My goodness, that Skywrath Mage not long for this world, and Alchemist also has to book it. Even though TTGR get the Aegis since they lose immediately during that fight, it's still Goomba to control the pace of the game.
So far, yes, just because they have so much mobility and the jump power from them, the initiation is absolutely massive. Whereas, yes, there is counter initiation from TTGR, of course, as well, with maybe a Blink Alchemist now or just Blink Ravage, but Ravage is just such a long cooldown, whereas Goomba, they can Blink Hex or Blink Enchant Totem just so very often. But still, looking at the graphs, they are getting closer to 0 now, just after that one fight. So Goomba, they're not, or at least the snowball was stopped by TTGR now, and they're farming up reasonably well. But this Lina, he does 675 pure damage now with his ultimate, piercing magic immunity. It's just not gonna be fun times. If there's a Blink Ravage plus a Laguna Blade to follow, the supports, for example, of Goomba will just die to those 2 spells.
Yeah, and very easily too. Right now, I think it is all about this Lina to control the pace of the game. Even with that Aghanim Scepter, we haven't seen very many Laguna Blades actually be thrown. With the 60-second cooldown, if they're able to consistently get kills for TTGR, things could be looking up for them. But because the items aren't meaning as much on the Alchemist right now, this game really feels like it's zeroed out. And if anything, favors Goomba because of the blinks on the 2 supports. It's really hard to overstate how important that is, to have that mobility and extra initiation power.
Well, at the moment we do have to still wait out the disconnect, unfortunately, as I don't know, people tend to have lots of connection issues for one reason or another. But the Alchemist, I mean, he has his Blink, has the Mjolnir finished. Is this the time to go for BKB finally, or is it still gonna be like strong-headed and just will take a stance on not going for BKB at all?
I don't think he can afford to do it, but then again, since you have the instant initiation coming up from Blink Hex and the Blink Echo Slam as well, BKB is also not going to be reliable, but I think it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, I think just you kind of do need it, like you mentioned. Just Goomba, they have so much otherwise to kill you, kite you, lock you down without you being able to do anything. And with the lineup that they're running at the moment, yes, it's nice to have the Lina, and Lina with the Fiery Soul actually can kind of be a right-click carry as well if need be with the correct items. At the moment, though, with the item builds, with everything, how things have been going, it feels like Alchemist, he needs to be the one dishing out the majority of the damage. And he just needs the BKB to be able to do so.
Yep, well, for now, we're still paused, and unfortunately, too. Looks like the ready is going to come out from Goomba, and hopefully TTGR have fixed their... Oh, dear. Okay, yeah, we're back.
So, all is cool for now. Chetty did go for power trades. I was thinking maybe even try to go for like a Hand of Midas on a support Wraith King. Make it so that if this goes to the later stages, you actually have like a semi-carry to back everything up. Or if nothing else, just a tankier Wraith King to have the lifesteal aura for a little bit longer. Edie though, he is rather aggressively pushing out, but I guess he knows he cannot really get punished with the items that TTGR has. If there was Blink on Wraith King, the supports had to be so much more careful, but there's the Blink Hex onto Mufasa. Sunstrike will follow the Earthspike, is there. Enchant Totem, Ice Path and all. The Mystic Flare will completely whip Edie, still in some trouble as well. There's the Ravage, catches only one, but Shakira will definitely fall down as the secondary kill. So in the end, a 2-for-1. Ravage was spent, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, I think that's... No. I think that's fine for Goomba, unless TTGR are able to take more than just a tier 1 tower down towards bottom with that. They lose 2 supports, they kill off the Alchemist, which is the most important hero for TTGR, and their Juggernaut survives up towards top, even with the first usage of Laguna Blade with that Aghanim Scepter upgrade. If anything, I think that's a flat even trade.
I guess it might be even, yes. Alchemist definitely the highest priority to shut down, and now Alchemist with the Ogre Club, I guess BKB will be the next item of choice for him. In the meantime, Scarlet Mage will go place the ward on the hill here, just try to get as much vision on Goomba as possible, know when they're coming into the enemy jungle, because Goomba at the moment, they have been playing aggressive. Top lane though, Exist, he's around, he's in the trees, sees Mufasa, but don't think he can go for a solo kill, or never mind, he's going to try Chaos Meteor, Differing Blast, and the Sunstrike, he might even get the kill, although Chemical Rage just barely keeps Alchemist alive, but man, that was close.
Yeah, I was about to mention this battle build on Exist. It's really scary. And yeah, if he didn't have that Ogre Club inside his inventory, for sure that's a kill on Mufasa. And unfortunate that they don't have any other damage close. But definitely Invoker flexing his muscles. That was a 1200 HP Alchemist, almost 100 to 0'd, and only survives because of Chemical Rage.
Yeah, and Invoker, after coming out from that, he used the Hand of Midas, he got level 14, got the last point into Exort. I think had he had the last point of Exort for that, just gank, or well, whatever the attempted pick off, I think it would have been enough already.
So. Yeah, well, we do have our Yule Scepter up for Lina as well, so TTGR, they have a lot of killing potential on their side, but still it's really feeling like neither team's getting that much. Looks like a Sunstrike landed onto the Alchemist or something of that sort.
Yeah, I guess just trying to scare people off at the moment, as in the meantime Chill has finished up a Manta style, and that's going to be rather crucial. Just being able to get out of the Sky of Mage's Ancient Seal is going to be pretty damn huge for him, because so far it has actually, or rather Juggernaut, he hasn't been active for quite some time now, just been farming up, but his deaths, most of them have been just purely due to the silence.
Yep, I think the biggest advantage that Goomba have going throughout this game is that they're able to utilize more of the map. Even though TTGR are getting good farm on their Alch and their Lina, nobody else is really picking up the slack, so we'll just have to see. Blink Away should keep Lion and company safe, although TTGR, they might know that Gasha's around. They aren't going to be able to find him. Gasha is well out to safety. Action potentially brewing up towards top, however.
Oh, the Yules comes out, Light Circuit will follow as well, but he gets stunned before he gets the Laguna Blade off, and he might not get in range. Never mind, gets the kill, but there's another Yule Scepter, Sunstrike, Chaos Meteor, Defang Blast, beautifully set up by Exist himself. So it is a 1-for-1, and well, for TTGR, no way is it worth it, especially since the dominating streak did just get ended on the Lina. As bottom lane, Gasha blinks in Hex onto Lost, Earthspike to follow, Chill just comes in with a few right clicks once again. No ultimate needed, but he's gonna try to go for the Alchemist, who blinks out to the trees, and Healing Ward is there. They're not gonna find him.
No, Mufasa is going to be just safe. He has to wait for his Blink Dagger cooldown, but still Goomba finding better initiations, and this Lina really isn't doing enough work. A2 and 2, it's really hard to knock the Lina, but it would be nice if she'd control better. Down bottom, they get the Blink Ravage. They're focused down Chill. Will he be able to survive? He doesn't have the Healing Ward available. He's able to run away. 4-staff forward onto Mufasa as he pops in Mjolnir charge. But with the Omni Slash turned onto him, it's going to be the Alchemist falling. They will Finger of Death onto the Tidehunter. Fissure from long range, and this is going to be easy 2 kills for Goomba.
Oh god, that Omni Slash was massive. I didn't notice if it was level 3 before. Earlier on he was level 15, but he might have gotten level 16 from those two kills here. Not entirely sure, but well, definitely did enough damage in any case. And that was the 10-second BKB charge as well for the Alchemist, so that's even bigger because of that. And just a support play from Goomba at the moment. I think is what's kind of separating TTGR and Goomba. Just the supports with the double blink, just being able to come in to help or just initiate themselves. It just gives them so much more freedom, and like you said as well, with that they also are able to just utilize the map a lot more.
Yeah, it really is, and it's scary too. It seems like TTGR forgot about how potent the chill is on this Juggernaut, even without actually showing off that Omni Slash. Too many times his farm is keeping up, and really, it doesn't feel like Alchemist is at the top of the net worth chart with what he's able to do. Blink, BKB, and Mjolnir on most heroes would allow them to fight very effectively, but Mufasa just doesn't feel like he's able to do anything.
Yeah, he kind of like needs a basher or something to follow up as well. And the thing is, they do need to kind of chain everything together. Like we said earlier on as well, Alchemist does need the backup from his team to just, first of all, stun the enemies, for example, for the Alchemist actually to be able to right click. But now, they might get the Juggernaut. Nope, the Fisher is there to stop Lina's Light Striker Ray. Suddenly, Meta Style activated. Echo Slam spent for the kill, and Mystic Flare completely whiffs. So, Lina tried to do something nice, which completely backfired, and Mufasa even activated his BKB, so that's a 9-second BKB charge for absolutely nothing.
It's not going to be getting any better. Jettisay, are you AFK? That's going to be the ultimate down from the Wraith King. They're going to follow up with the Ice Path, and now Jettisay is going to die for a second time, 90% sure. Although he's actually able to survive with some stunning action coming out from the Alchemist. Juggernaut runs towards the north. That costs them a buyback on the Lina, however. Let's see if they get any more on the retreat. Blink forward, Gush onto the Earthshaker towards the north of this fight. Fisher connects on the 2 in return. Ice Wall to buy them a little bit more space as Madness Force Staff over it. Eul Scepter onto himself, however. Not going to connect onto anybody. Jill going to be silenced up, but they still are going to lose the Skywrath Mage, or will they going to survive on very low HP? They'll drop the Laguna Blade, and now Wraith King has properly disconnected.
Yeah, it's definitely felt like he had major, massive ping issues earlier, or just was AFK like you mentioned. But at the moment, one thing I definitely didn't understand is Chill using the Manta Style, knowing that the entirety of TTGR is coming close. Like literally second after the Manta Style, he got Ancient Sealed, and almost died because of that. He had a level 3 Omni Slash. I'm pretty sure he wanted to use it there as well, and there wouldn't have been any units other than heroes there for him to just hit on. So had he waited with the Manta Style 1 second, we might be looking at a dead Wraith King, probably a dead Tidehunter as well, maybe even a Lina. I mean, you have 9 bounces or 9 chumps after all. But now I think they're just gonna go and focus Mufasa, who did get the stun on to Exist. Edie doesn't have a Fisher, just a little bit short of mana. Your Magic Stick on cooldown needs 3 more mana. So Alchemist, I guess there's a tiny chance that he can kill off Exist, but Alchemist might just get Omni Slashed in return.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Right now, TTGR, they're on a lot of low HP heroes, in particular the Skywrath Mage. I almost thought that that Forge Spirit would have enough damage to kill him off with 6 stacks of the Melting Strike. He survives this on double-digit HP. We will have an Invoke coming up from the Invoker shortly, but he's also not going to have his full combo, and he has been freshly stunned up by Mufasa, who's trying to go to town. I think Exist is just fine here, however. We'll see. Right now, it's more or less a null trade after that Lina buyback.
Oh, just this fight, man. Skywrath Mage as well. 20 HP, 4 spirits. I can't differentiate whether the 1 4 spirits is trying to start the attack, or, well, it's a pretty huge distance, or they're just trying to chase. One more right click, of course, would do the trick already, even with the Anchor Smash being on them. Do we have a Sunstrike ready for Exist? Nope.
He could use it, but I'm not sure if he wants to.
Yeah, it's probably there are better targets to try to go for. But what do you think how this fight will just go? Are they going to leave the Alchemist be and just let him try to handle his own? Or are they going to try to go back in? There is Ravage in 4 seconds, so I guess they might try to wait things out. But within the 4 seconds, the Alchemist might be dead already. So, do you think TTGR, do they back off? Or do they try to just go brute force things?
Okay, so I think it's all up to what JCS decides on the Tidehunter. If he wants to reinitiate a Blink Ravage, if that connects onto Chill, would be huge. But then again, the silence is just worn off onto the Juggernaut, and I don't think they have the lockdown to actually make that work. I think this is just going to be them backing off, but maybe they decide differently.
It's definitely hard for them to just re-engage, just because even if they go to go in with the Ravage, that's more or less going to be their only spell available to them. So I guess with that, they might try to back off and Just when you lose the Alchemist or if you lose anybody, just when you respawn, then go try to pick a fight with the Ravage and just everything else being ready for you as well. But it's just, how the hell did they even get this separated? I guess Mufasa just got really eager trying to chase people down. But at the moment, if you look at the battlefield, he's he's just in such a bad position, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. Here's the... Oh, yeah, it's a pause. I really wish you could draw on the map during a pause.
Yeah, I have no idea why you can't. That's been bugging me for some time as well.
Oh, I mean, I could understand it, like, logically inside the game why you couldn't, since it's not actively drawing anything new on the map. But they need to change that. This is the time where you'd actually want to draw on the map, right? Like, you want to just say, like, oh no, they're gonna walk over here. These are the zones, like in a football game where you have all of the X's and O's, what have you.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, this, like you said, would be the best time to draw. Just try to analyze things because things are slowed down. You can actually like keep the camera on the drawings and everything, not have to follow kills or something like that. So, no clue. But he's still disconnected. No, like no words, no updates, information. Like if he's coming back, what happened? PC crash, internet went out. Who the hell knows? That's also like one thing that throughout the entirety of my casting I have never been able to figure out is that why people just hate information or at least sharing information.
It is also unknown to me. I really have no idea. It's so much easier if you just say what's wrong. I mean, it can be inferred that Wraith King's having ping issues, and I suppose we can go ahead and check that out, but we probably shouldn't have to.
Yeah, it's just a little bit awkward. I mean, it's always like that, especially in the lobbies as well. The team is late already 10 minutes, yet they haven't said a single word. It's like 2 players are missing and nobody says anything. The worst, of course, is when admins are asking them, like, are your last players coming? Complete silence. It's like, dude, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
No sorries or anything if they just show up late. Just, it's fine, we were late. No worries.
Yeah. And that's something that probably should be changed, but there's no easy way to go about doing it. It would be nice if Wraith King would actually reconnect here. Honestly, I don't think it matters much if he's in this fight, because he can't do very much of anything.
Well, it depends on how much of a man he is.
No, with
maybe
no
you can try to
ultimate-
like go close and get one stun off and run away like a little girl.
At the most, he gets one Wraith for a blast off. I don't think there's any chance that he gets off two.
Yeah, I think probably the best call for them would be just back the hell out, leave the Alchemist to die, but of course making that call might be extremely difficult knowing that Alchemist is just your pretty much key to victory, let's put it like that at the moment. And if
Things
you
would
die-
be a lot easier if you had like a blink on the Lina or any mobility tool outside of the Yule Scepter.
Yeah, it's like blink on him, blink on Wraith King, anything but Wraith King. I can't say I support him going for a Blade Mail rather than a blink. Because they kind of need the extra initiation. At the moment, yes, blink on Saber Concussion might be nice. But they do need more mobility, and that's just a fact. I mean, Tidehunter, it's nice with a blink, but you have Ravage only every 150 seconds when you use it.
Yeah, and that is problematic for him. I can sort of get behind it just because Jedisei isn't going to be able to save very much gold since he is having such an abysmal time. And the Blade Mail, it is sort of a poor man's BKB. There's a lot of AoE that's pretty much unavoidable for Goomba to actually knock it off, and as a general rule, I like the item on Wraith King, but I do think they need some extra way to jump into the fight. And I think that extra way is, or should, be coming out from the Lino. We are going to have the good to go coming out from both sides, so let's see how this fight breaks down. All eyes on Alchemist, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he has the Mjolnir, so he might be able to do a lot of damage, and Jill actually has to be a little bit careful. If he doesn't go for like the immediate Omni Slash, just random lightning bounces might kill him off if he's trying to get close to the Alchemist. So we'll see if it's gonna just happen. Oh no. Okay, I guess Goomba, we're not ready for this. Oh man. Are they... I guess now with the pause went on for long enough for the server itself to start lagging.
Okay.
Oh Oh god, that's like that. Well, yeah, TTGR actually they are from Kazakhstan, I do believe. So I guess for them to have Bing issues might not be the most common of things, but at the moment, Goomba, they have a disconnect, and everybody, yeah, it's the server now. So just what are the odds that only one player has issues? Then you pause for that one player to come back, and once he's back, the server just doesn't go down, but starts just messing a little bit.
It happens a lot more than I would care to admit, or I think anybody would.
Yeah, it's it's kind of a rule of thumb. Just delays cause more delays. That's just how things go somehow. It's the snowball just keeps getting bigger. I don't know.
It's not very pretty. Oh well, looks like we're going to try. Okay, looking for the Omni Slash is going to commit onto the Alchemist and going to obliterate him. With the Mask of Madness up, he needs to be careful as Wraithing looks for the Wraithfire Blast, but ends up just dying. Or will he? He gets it off on Nagasha, and Jettisei is going to survive, but Chill has not had the end of it. He's going to get silenced up, does not have a Mantis Style, needs to be so careful. Yule Scepter up. This is the death of Juggernaut. I don't think there's a way he gets out of that with the right clicks just from the Scarth Mage and Lina. It's enough, making things 3 for 3, and it might not be over yet. Exist is spotted out, the LSA connects, and that's going to be the end of his life. 4 for 3, and even though TTGR lose their Alk, it looks pretty good for them.
Yeah, not too shabby at all, and that was without the Ravage coming out from the Tide as well, just because he did not choose to wait out his Blink Dagger with the Ravage. He just tried to run in. I don't know why he decided to run, not just wait behind the trees and then just go for like a semi-surprise Blink Ravage or something like that. So he just got picked off by the Lion Hex into Earthspike, and well, he was so low already that that almost just killed him off. So a little bit unfortunate for them. It might have gone maybe so that the Wraith King didn't even die at all, but worked out in the end fine for them. And Juggernaut as well, just being on that low HP before from when the pause happened, having used his Manta Style before and getting silenced, just taking so much damage. That's what made the difference, but still has his Aghanim Scepter finished now. And with this Aghanim finished now, what's even the next choice? Do we go for a Basher next? Like Desolator? What's the build?
Not exactly sure. I'd like to see Basher, I think. I'm not sure if Desolator is really worth it, but then again, with such low armor in the Alchemist, they could probably get away with both. Raw damage is probably the fortunate business with this build.
Do you think, well, Jettisei runs into Exist, not gonna go, gets the dodge with the Yule Scepter, but it's not gonna be enough, I think, never mind, Ghostwalk. He's fine, Sentry comes out a little bit too late, concussive shot, won't even hit, and Jill now, he wants to go in deep, he has the ultimate, and he's gonna pop it as well. Will he kill anybody at all? They are grouped up completely, and well, Jettisei takes a lot of damage. There's the Earthspike, Finger of Death, they bring down the Alchemist before he gets his ultimate. Madness now, he's gonna be next, but oh god, the Ravage catches 2 at least. Chaos Meteor doing a lot of damage, they will lose the Reincarnation, and well, JCS will be able to escape, but Jettisei not as lucky. So in the end, well, I think it's gonna be a 5 for 1.
It looks that way, as they're going to be able to mop up everything. Exist cleaning house towards the end of that, and TTGR just not able to really do anything. Even after one good fight, the sustained fighting ability of Goomba is probably a little bit better, but you definitely hope to... Okay, just a side note is Chill is chopping away at this Roshan. Alacrity double damage Juggernaut hurts, but yeah, it's very unfortunate, especially since they commit their Ravage. Goomba are now free to push down a lane, at the very least taking a tier 2.
Yeah, and they have a gem now as well, so they're even going to take the map control away completely from TTGR. And that Omni Slash, although it didn't kill off anybody, it made TTG maybe not panic, because they did stay grouped up to make sure that one single person does not die. But since they were so grouped up, they really didn't have any form to just properly counter-initiate. Also, Alchemist getting picked off immediately. And well, speaking of pickoffs, Mufasa does get a solo kill onto the Invoker, so that's pretty nice, but they lost their tier 2, so in the end, considering how the fight went, the Roshan also going Goomba's way and getting a tier 2, Invoker's death just isn't all that demoralizing for them.
Yeah, it's definitely not. They'll be able to continue up the pressure on the enemy side of the map and chill really without a fear in the world. He has the Aegis as his will farm up the enemy jungle. And if any one hero shows their face to this jug, it's an easy Omni Slash away from being a kill. Tier 2 tower down towards the bottom, at the very least is going to fall. Best TTGR can hope for is a deny. And they're going to try for it, catch out the Fissure onto Earthspike, only falls up onto Jettisei, but still no ultimate up on this Wraith King if they want to kill him. But for now, Goomba going to fall back.
To be honest, I completely expected the Fisher to be followed by Blink Echo Slam as well as an Omni Slash. That would have just been easy 2 kills. I mean, I think guaranteed as well. They should have known Wraith King doesn't have the reincarnation because he's only level 13, so it has that 160-second cooldown on it. I have no idea. I mean, just committing Omni Slash shouldn't be a big thing for them now with being only 70-second cooldown with the Aghanims. But, well, I guess they wanted to wait for the Invoker and just go use all of their ultimates when they're S5 and just can capitalize later with their Axe.
Yeah, well, Goomba going to keep up the pressure down towards bottom. Chill still comfortably on these front lines, and they'll shove it up to the high ground. Blink forward by the Alchemist, but doesn't accomplish anything. Wasn't channeling a stun or anything of the sort, and Chill chomping away at this tier 3 tower ever so quickly. They will Wraithfire blast him up, but Chill doesn't seem to care, especially with the healing ward. Fisher, go and catch up Mufasa. Can they chain lock him down? No, they can't. He isn't going to stun himself because the BKBs popped previously. Jedisei looking for the Wraithfire blast. Ravage connects on the 2 worst to fall up onto the Chikiro. At the very least, they have the Mystic Flare, but the Omni Slash slices through the sky as well as the Lina. That's Wraith King's ultimate down. Tidehunter going to be brought down by the Deafening Blast Meteor combination. Chill is going to be stunned up by the Alchemist. Wraith King again disconnects.
Well, Wraith King, he is dead regardless, so I'm not too sure if they think they can maybe save him, but Alchemist, without having a BKB charge now, having it to use it purely to not stun yourself, they cannot fight this anyway, I think. There is no buyback on any of the dead heroes, so just, I guess they won't lose the triple sets of racks, or at least they shouldn't, if they do continue, but it just feels like this pause, if it goes on for long enough, we're gonna have like a long pause with like maybe 2 minutes of playtime after this where Goomba just go multiple sets of racks and there's no comeback from TTGR or something, but well, we'll see if it's gonna be such a case or not.
It really does feel like it though. We still have the Aegis on Juggernaut. He hasn't fallen below 75% of his HP throughout the entirety of this. And Mufasa, what's he actually able to do? 1v5, he's just going to be dropped down so quickly with no BKB since he was already forced to spend that. I was half hoping that Goomba would be able to lock him down before he got off that Black King bar. They're cutting a little bit close. But yeah, at the very least, his team is going to die. Once the Seal Scepter drops down the Wraith King, he's going to be walking through macro powers with just all sorts of damage going his way.
Oh man, life is pretty hard for TTGR at the moment for sure. And, well, Alchemist, I mean, Basher is definitely nice. Gonna help you get lots of kills with the attack speed you have. But Goomba's just fights or their positionings for the fights have been a tad better. I mean, the Ravage was pretty decent from the Tidehunter this time. But the follow-up just wasn't there, mostly because the Echo Slam stopped Lina completely. Omni Slash followed as well. Lina didn't get off, I think, a single spell there. And they do need the Laguna Blade. I mean, it's 950 pure damage. That's just a huge chunk of their overall teamfight damage already. And if that doesn't come out, you're just going to be a little bit short. If the Alchemist had the BKB to actually stand in the fight, maybe it would have been out or turned out a little bit better. But at the moment, Goomba, they're just getting 4 easy kills without losing almost any of their HP on any of their heroes.
Yeah, and his damage just doesn't really compare to that of the Juggernaut. Mufasa, unless he gets some lucky bashes, it's not great. Right now, we're going to see even more flame going the way of Kazakhstan internet, but Wraith King has joined the land of the living, but probably not for long.
Probably not. I mean, I guess he returns to the world of Dota, but not the world of living, maybe. Well, yeah, for a second. For a second. I think he's gonna die within 3 seconds of coming down from the Yules.
1, 2, 3. They decide instead to go for the Alchemist, and they will dive Mufasa down to as well. Hexed up, they'll bring him down. And Wraith King survives for probably twice as long as you gave him credit for. The melee barracks down towards bottom, gonna be focused by Goomba, and from here on out, it's just an easy swing towards mid. No buybacks up for TTGR.
Well, their decision to not focus everything on the Alchemist definitely was or rather on the Wraith King definitely was the wiser choice here as well. Just because guaranteeing the kills, they of course I don't think at least they knew if he has buyback or not, but well, now it's apparent he doesn't have it, and even if they have buyback, they won't have the Ravage to fight with. And one thing I also have to mention, that this game, Mystic Flares have been, or they haven't been doing anything. We've seen lots of Mystic Flares, but from my memory, like 70-80% of them have more or less been complete whiffs.
And if they weren't whiffs, they actually didn't do anything, and now there is no chance for a Mystic Flare to come out, as he's just dropped down way too fast. Lion going to secure a GG, called out by Jedisei.
So thank God, fake. Okay then, but thank God that pause wasn't that long this time around. That he came back within a reasonable timing, so didn't have to wait for too long. But like we said, it's probably gonna be over within a couple of minutes after the pause. Childo might go down here. Juggernaut is pretty damn deep, but he has the Aegis of course, so never mind. Gets the Omnislash before the pop even. He won't kill off anybody at the moment, and well, with the help of the fountain, he does die. Sunstrike completely misses everybody. So I'm not too sure if it's still meaningful for TTGR to try to fight, but I guess they're doing it.
They're doing it! They're bashing down Madness, blinking from the Earthshaker. The Deafening Blast Meteor combo on Mufasa is pretty much a nail in the coffin, but unfortunately not enough damage to kill off the Alchemist at the very least. The loser Wraith King outside of their base, and they're just being chained in by Ed on this Earthshaker. They will jump in with the tide, gets a gush off, but now Juggernaut, freshly renewed after that Aegis, is going to town, but maybe a little bit too deep. Has some backup from the Jakiro, and let's see if he gets enough batches. Yet another Fissure connecting. They'll will Laguna Blade him up. Chill not going to be able to Manta dodge that one. He's going to be right-click down, so maybe there's a glimmer of hope, but not really.
Well, TTGR just make every single Goomba hero buyback and then just come back and die again. So if everybody of them diebacks, I guess there's a tiny chance, but even then, just the Mega Creeps probably will overtake them.
Divine Rapier by the Invoker. Yeah, this is probably the biggest chance that they have to actually win this game, is if Invoker beats a Rapier. But even if they do, this is no Gyrocopter, this is no Dusa. Alchemist has to be in the middle of the fight to actually utilize it, and if Goomba focus all of their reserves into him, Rapier or not, he's going to fall. And just look at Mufasa fight up against these Mega Creeps. Even with his ultimate on, he's being ripped to shreds.
And got to pick up, or got to have Wraith King next to you at all times for the lifesteal to be able to survive that and have your ultimate non-stop. I think it's time to go refresh your Alchemist now. Get more ultimate, man. I don't know. But they do get the kill on JTC with the Omnislash being used, or rather, they get his reincarnation to pop, and we have another disconnect, but this time around, it's an immediate unpause. They know this game is over anyway, so they're just trying to enjoy the last seconds of it.
As much as they can. Earthshaker gonna throw out another Fissure, but this one might be his last. He's got out in the sidelines, and this time the Mystic Flare going to connect, and he'll be brought down with the Ancient Seal. Feels like we're just delaying the inevitable at this point, though, with the Mega Creeps pushing it.
Well, I guess the Rapier still might be like a minor chance if a Battle Fury is picked up on the Alchemist, for example. At least one good thing with supersized Mega Creeps is that Alchemist will always have creeps to kill for the Grievous Greed. So that's like the one positive, but he's gonna stun himself at the moment, and Exist, well, he's gonna come in with the Alacrity. Oh my god, never mind, gonna back off. Doesn't want to beat up the Rapier. He only needed like, I think maximum 2 right clicks at that situation to kill the Alchemist. But he did wuss out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're going for a Rapier, you're already playing this very riskily. Why not go whole hog? I mean, if you're gonna go for damage, probably just go into Daedalus if you actually want to fight. Sunstrike not going to connect onto the Lina. And for now, Goomba, they're just pushing in these creep waves. TTGR, they're holding out, but only just. Radiant Ancient at half HP.
Well, now they're gonna lose Madness, or are they? 4-step is there, chill. Alacrity up, pops the Omnislash to get the 1 kill on Nevermind. Yule Scepter is there. Omnislash still keeps on going through the Yule Scepter and gets the bounces in the end. Aghanim's value, just too many jumps for the Yule Scepter to dodge. That was so damn silly, just his Omnislashing the Yule Scepter target, and just use ends. A few more jumps and kill.
Unfortunately, Lina going to disconnect. That is going to be GG, well played, called out. And the first game Bridon League for today is going to go very handily in the favor of Goomba.
Yeah, it was kind of to be expected as well. Goomba definitely were the favorites coming into this particular game. But guys, this was only the first game out of 4 that we have today for you. The next one will be basically unknown versus Cleave, so should be maybe a little bit better of a game. But then again, just the level of basically unknown so far in the 2 games we saw yesterday was completely just out of the ballpark comparing to the other teams. So we'll see if basically unknown can bring that same level of game today up against Cleave, or if Cleave have something magical for us. But guys, having said that, hope you enjoyed the cast, and if you did, you can follow HeflaTV for more content, of course, on our social media, Facebook and Twitter, HeflaTV for both, for the casters, at Coucher for me, at GrandisV for my co-caster. And guys, the next game is gonna start in about 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere, stick around, and just we'll have a game in 15 minutes.